hustle.
Welcome to Conscious Reconstruction, where it is hotter than Satan's asshole.
No, it isn't. We already decided to call this the Hustle and Flow Studio. We agreed upon that.
We didn't agree. You just named it that and then went with it. I support that.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, himself. Look at you.
Look, you can hear the beats that are going to be coming out of this place. It's going to be straight. We're going to get 3 6 Mafia Oscar. Oh. The fact that 3 6 Mafia has an Oscar still amazes me to this day.
They got the first Oscar.
Yeah, Idlewild didn't get it.
That's his statement was, Idlewild didn't get it. No, to celebrate them getting their Oscar.
I mean, I was happy that they did, but it's just like, when it all comes full circle, it's just like, this is the first one y'all give out? Y'all didn't give, like, Idlewild an Oscar? That was really well sonically composed and so on and so forth.
Bruh.
Yeah, nah.
3 6 Mafia. I swear to God, like, they just be doing that shit on purpose. Because they reward shitty behavior, but they don't reward
I'm not even gonna say it was like a terribly shitty.
That Hustle and Flow album was not fucking Oscar worthy. Let's get that out the fucking way.
I mean, they could have given it to American Gangster.
They could have given it to anything but Hustle and Flow.
No, it's just like, we are going to give it to the black people's lowest moment.
Exactly. Ugh. What message do you think that you two can make it? You fucking washed up pimp. What? You two have a chance.
Was that the story of Hustle and Flow? He was a washed up pimp that started making beats.
Exactly. This nigga just had heart.
You want to know something funny?
Talk about how hard it was to be a pimp. Which, okay, you only talking about what you know. I can't knock that story. Understand,
I've never actually consumed the entirety of Hustle and Flow.
So yes, he was a pimp that had 2 hoes. One hoe ended up pregnant.
Sitting in the house.
Yeah.
And he got rid of the other hoe while she was at her job.
Yeah.
While she was out here.
And she was at her job. I remember when he kicked her out the house. You see how trifling that whole story is from beginning to end.
They made music in the back of a house with this white boy that was producing, and he was the rapper, and they was just going for it. Because it's hard out here for a pimp.
So he was just kind of a janky Z. And that's what they decided to give an Oscar to.
That's what I said. Rewarding shitty behavior. You too can make it. You fucking pimp. You too can get this bread, and hopefully one day they might play your shit on the fucking radio.
And that's the man who they wanted to be a War Machine. It's real interesting.
I don't understand. I don't get that. I will never understand that win in all of history and anywhere in any time. Like I said, I just think they just really be trying. They covert when they say like, yeah, they just need their chance. Well, it gotta be other bodies of work that could just put us in a better light. Like what's that Kevin Hart movie now that's out? Like, I bet you that's not gonna be. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, but also,
actually, it's what I've heard is really good. It's about the mother of the children passing away.
Yeah.
And him having to like be a dad on his own. Mm-hmm. And like how that is. Like,
does he remain a dad on his own through the entirety of the movie, or does he randomly pick up some chick halfway through?
I haven't watched it all.
Me neither. My mother said she cried though.
I just saw the trailer, and he ran into like a mommy and me class and was like, it say parents on the door. I'm a parent. She pissing and shitting everywhere. She's like, sometimes you think it's done, and then it's like a little machine gun. And like, he was just going off on them because that's like, no, this is for mothers. And he's like, no, y'all will help me because I don't know what I'm doing. So it seemed like it was going to be pretty good and not necessarily black trauma, which I appreciate. That's the one thing I can say. At least Kevin Hart doesn't give us that.
Yeah.
Like, all his movies at least seem to be like black cops or just anything, really.
Black people doing normal things.
Yeah, like, why everything we do just got to be traumatic? Like I said, like, why we got to highlight the pimp story? That's not everybody's story. That's a small minority. Yeah, like, that's a small minority story.
Speaking of Kevin Hart, how do y'all feel about him going off on everybody who was saying that he's not funny?
He went off?
Yeah.
Wait. That could have been his hobby. I didn't hear hear it.
Oh yeah, he tweeted. He had a whole bunch of tweets. Let me look it up.
We said something like "fuck cancel culture" at some point.
Yeah, he was talking about cancel culture. And basically saying he's like J. Cole said, if y'all are laughing at a millionaire, y'all are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I just forgot his name for a second, Kevin Hart. But he was really upset. He also did a Red Table Talk with Will Smith to promote the
fatherhood thing.
Yeah. He had to promote his movie every chance he gets.
I've never really enjoyed Kevin Hart to begin with. So
I definitely enjoy Kevin Hart's earlier stuff. It's just afterwards, like, you can laugh, but it's not like iconic. It's just something that, I don't know, you just kind of feel like he just did. And I get it. Being a comedian, this is how you expressing yourself through your comedic art form. But also,
you out here doing 3 movies a year in this.
Yeah, like it don't feel like it's coming from the same place as it did in the beginning. And I never said he was not funny. I'm just notably noticing like it's changed, and I'm not really
like
interested.
You're working on your craft as much as you used to. These might have been the jokes that probably almost made it previously.
Yeah, because he damn sure like he's a funny guy. I could never doubt that. But the material just. It's more goofy than it is funny. Like Tiffany Haddish is goofy. To me, she not like a funny person. Like I don't know if I would go pay to see her. Like Tony Baker too. Tony Baker be pretty goofy. I just haven't seen anything that he did that was just like, yo.
I don't think one can actually like if you look at him as like, can you compose the quintessential thing everyone points at when it comes to like comedy is like, oh, Eddie Murphy. Can you sit there like Eddie Murphy did and like compose a show from beginning to end?
You paint this picture for me. That's what make all the greats kind of stand out, is painting this story and these small little contrivances in your life that seem small but make the biggest idea. And then can you make us laugh at it?
So what he said about people thinking that he's not funny is the hate fuels me to do more. He didn't give a shit about cancel culture. He said the he's not funny slander is the best. This is for you. Hard tweet. I have 3 stand-up comedy specials that fall in the top 10 highest grossing comedy specials of all time. 2 of my specials are in the top 3 of all time. I've been the highest grossing comedian in entertainment for years now. I have also seen the highest grossing comedian in box office with over $4 billion in earnings. I've also turned my comedic talent into a place of business and branding and radio and other revenue streams. The hate slander fuels me to do more. You guys are what makes this business fun because it's not just about getting to the top. It's about doing your best to stay at the top after you got there. I rarely talk shit, but I felt the need to today. Stop believing these headlines and read the actual article. You guys fall for the banana and the tailpipe trick every damn time.
It sounds like he's kind of upset.
He added, J. Cole said it best. If you're laughing at a millionaire, the joke's on you. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Live, love, and laugh. So I would say that
a little upset.
While all those things are true, you didn't answer anything about being funny.
That's also the overall critique. You quoted numbers is just like people.
You said you're popular.
That's it. Like you said, you made a lot of money. You know what else made a lot of money? One of the highest grossing fucking comedians is Jeff Foxworthy. I don't see none of y'all being like, yeah, throwing that Jeff Foxworthy every time he come down here. Because that's a particular brand of comedy, that gears toward them. It's cool that you're making that comedy towards them, but I think people can tell a little bit of insincerity. Like, you worried about the numbers game down, which is cool. You earned your right to go there. Like, I'm not going to subtract from your success. But also,
my entire thing is there's some point, just like with rappers, there's some point where you probably should just leave this space. You don't need to be here anymore. It's just like, you don't need to do stand-up comedy. Honestly, you're probably, if these people want to do stand-up comedy specials and they're trying to do it with somebody, you doing this one could possibly lead to 3 other small comedians could possibly got stand-up comedy specials off of the money that they're probably paying you. So, like, I know there's only so much, like, there's spaces where you can legitimately argue. There's only so much money. There's only so many people who are trying to do stand-up comedy specials.
Mm-hmm.
So that pie is literally only so big. And there are certain people who eat up a lot of the pie. And there are certain people who you'll want more than others. Like, if you have the option to get Dave Chappelle, regardless of whatever he gives you, it's probably going to be well rated.
Well, I guess on the counter argument for him, he's saying that regardless of how you feel about it, clearly a lot of people like it and want to come see it. So it must be working.
I'm not saying it's not working.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that that's what you're saying, but I'm saying that that's what he's saying.
It's like
in response to like saying maybe you should move on because your legacy is kind of being less. It's more tarnished this way. Like you have some great specials, but you're not necessarily.
It's not really iconic anymore. You know what I mean? It's not like this iconic. Like, I can tell you all my favorite specials from all my comedians, my favorite comedians right now, and I can tell you why they have a special place in my heart. Kevin Hart could be one of those things, but I can honestly say, like Dave Chappelle, I can see the level of growth in his storytelling. It's damn sure not the same as it was when it first started, but it's just a level of iconicness that just the way he land a joke is such a beautiful.
Oh yeah, the way he takes something on a whole.
That O.J. Simpson.
Yeah,
the Jussie Smollett. Like, everybody in here know. Like, I'm not saying Kevin ain't got no. Like, the T-Mobile joke is one of the funniest shits of all time to me for Kevin Hart. But I haven't seen a level of growth. Like, that's cool.
He hasn't elevated
small.
Since those first three.
Yeah, like, okay, you get the thing that you small. You get the thing that you a family man. Like,
he does save comedy that's
all right.
He's like the left wing Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Joe Rogan kind of panders to the right wing.
I was just more so like.
Well, if you think about it in terms of like popularity.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is immensely popular.
Yes.
And he speaks to a certain demographic and ignores everything else that anybody might want him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He just serves his large base, and that's where he makes his money.
Yep.
Kevin Hart, for the most part, abides by PC culture and doesn't say anything that could be really perceived as like right-leaning.
Yes.
So he's a more PC culture
He's just
version.
pandering to the other side of it.
Yeah.
See, and you can tell that though. Like, he keep trying to pretend like people just can't instill their insincerity in that shit. I'm pretty sure you have more to say than just joking on your height or, like I said, that shit is hella goofy. And I will fucking crack a laugh. That should get you a laugh. Don't get me wrong. But it's nothing that's like a deep-rooted iconicness. Like, that's why all my favorites.
It's like, God, dude who made Paper Tiger.
Mm.
I can't remember his name right now. Bill
Michael
Burr.
Cera? Nah, that's somebody else.
It's Bill Burr.
Yeah. All right. Bill Burr, like, the funny thing about
Bill hard as fuck.
The funny thing about Bill Burr, as I can pretty much comfortably say, Bill Burr is actually fairly left-leaning if you actually listen to the things that he generally says.
Yeah, I got to listen to his podcast. He was like, oh, I was like, oh, okay, but.
But Bill Burr also just says all the things that he thinks. And it's just like there's a certain level of sincerity and genuineness to, outside of when he's doing interviews for movies that he was in. Like, I don't think he thinks the dude who he did, what's his name? Ariana Grande's ex-boyfriend is actually funny.
Mm-hmm.
But there's stuff like that. But like when he actually just does a comedy special, it's just like, some of these things is just like, I know you thought that because everyone's thought things that they probably shouldn't say. You just
and
say
that's
all
the point of
that
comedy. Like, that is the whole fucking point, is we're all kind of in this together, so we might as well fucking laugh at it. And I can't really identify with being a short black man all the fucking time or being a dad. Like, as goofy as that shit is, being a parent, like, I don't give a fuck.
He hasn't even, I don't know, he hasn't elevated to the point where I feel like you've improved on that craft.
Yeah, like, you want to see some level of different, like, you want to see somebody take a risk.
There's only so much polish that you can actually do with that, because it's just like, I polish being a goofy dag to the actual apex.
Well, that's why I feel like they're...
Unless there's a next level that somebody hasn't found.
That's what I feel like. I feel like either you need to go back and find something more, or you need to divert from there.
You need to
take a fucking risk, man. Like,
just say.
Well, he did take a risk. That Netflix series was a risk.
Which one?
The one where he was trying to do a bit more serious stand up, undisturbed,
in his living room.
I think maybe, I don't know. It was just him.
You see how don't nobody give a fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like when he quoted numbers, I have 3 of the top 10 grossing comedy specials, but all 3 of those happened inside the beginning of your career, if I remember correctly, when when he was still pretty new.
I don't know,
but
I know he did a stadium tour, which is crazy, so that might be in there.
Oh,
because it's right. I think it's right either ahead of or behind Eddie Murphy's.
Everyone's behind Eddie Murphy's.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Eddie Murphy came out with a fucking stand-up right now, I'm going to go see it.
What do you, man? I'm old Eddie Murphy is like, what you about to do? I'm about to make fun of myself being caught in the limo with a hermaphrodite. What do you think I'm about to do?
Bro, I was just about to say, I listened to Richard Pryor's early work. One day I was coming home from working out and I was listening to him talking about how he sucked like tranny dick. Like, that was the most hilarious shit. And then but then you can, because one of my favorite specials is Live on the Sunset Strip, and you can see his trajectory. Before, like, he would just be on stage just saying funny shit, random, kind of spit fire, and then he learned how to tell a fucking brilliant story from beginning to end. Like, this nigga in the fucking woods trying to take a piss, and he's like, talking about how women pee versus how men pee. Like, come on now. The level of him in 19 whatever, because I think he started out pretty clean just so he could have a shot on like those early 1960 shows. And then he just said, fuck it, I'm not doing this. This is not who I really am. Yeah, like the Bill Cosby. I don't know any other late night shows that came out.
Well, realistically, he was clean like Bill Cosby. Mm-hmm. And then him and Bill Cosby had a conversation about him and how Bill liked what he was doing, but that he should be himself. Mm-hmm. And then that's when Richard Pryor was like, bet.
And then it took the fuck off.
Yeah, then he went crazy with that shit. And in like a great way, but yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's what happens with every single wild comedian in some degree, because I do believe something similar to that happened with Bill Burr. It's just like, I had one bad experience and then fuck the establishment.
Yeah.
Or not Bill Burr. God, why can't I remember? Oh, dude, George Carlin. There we go. Mm-hmm. It was George Carlin had one like meh experience or something. It's just like, you know what? Fuck all this. And this is how we end up where we are. And it's like,
I guess that's the issue. Kevin Hart can't get to that point, and I guess that's why he's like really mad at cancel culture, because he was like, if somebody has done something truly damaging, then absolutely a consequence should be attached. But when you just talk about nonsense, when you're talking about someone said they then to be taken down, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? When did we get to the point where life was supposed to be perfect, where people were supposed to operate perfectly all the time? I don't understand. I don't expect perfection from my kids. I don't expect it from my wife, of course, because, you know, you be out here. Never mind. You, friends, employees. Because last I checked, the only way to grow up is from fucking up. I don't know a kid who hasn't fucked up and done some dumb shit. I've been counseled, 3 or 4 times? Never bothered. If you allow it to have an effect on you, it will. Personally, that's not how I operate. I understand people are human. Everyone can change. It's like jail. People get locked up so they can get taught a lesson. When they get out, they're supposed to be better. But if they come out and people go, I'm not giving you a job because you were in jail, then what the fuck did I go to jail for? That was my punishment. How do you not give those people a shot? I don't understand how that's the same as cancel culture, but I'm going to continue reading.
It sounds
They're saying that all life should be over because of a mistake. Your life should end and there should be no opportunity to change. What are you talking about? And who are you talking? Wow, who are you to make that decision? Yeah, so that was his
spiel.
Yeah.
My entire thing about that is
he said more about the Oscars, but I don't know about to keep reading all this. He just was on a little tirade.
Just went on a tirade because he was upset.
But he said, keep in mind, I'm not homophobic. Be happy. Do what you want to do. But me, as a heterosexual male, if I can prevent my son from being gay, I will. But
there's no preventative maintenance.
Well, that's what he said in his comedy special that got him canceled. And so he said the whole Oscars thing.
You don't gain. Well,
he's like, what I thought the problem was versus what the problem really was. I got 10 years where I made sure not to joke or play in that way. That I did back then because it was a problem. Yeah, I don't care if you're gay or not. I'm a people person. I'm not going to love you. I'm going to love you regardless. It wasn't until close friends like Wanda Sykes, Lee Daniels, and Ellen talked to me and explained what they didn't hear me say that I understood. That I was like, oh shit, I did fuck up. So, but he still thinks cancel culture is bullshit.
I mean, he didn't really get canceled.
He seems sensitive.
He is very sensitive.
Oh, you niggas sensitive. But anyway, he had his moment.
I mean, just for the most part, I mean, his moment isn't really over. That's the funny thing, and that's the kind of the thing that I hate that everyone's saying, like, oh, they were canceled, so means they're not working, you're doing anything. Most of these people are still doing stuff. Like, I don't know a single person where there's a quote-unquote cancel actually stuck. Like, Kevin Spacey literally admitted to raping people, and he still works in show business.
He admitted? He said, yeah, I did it?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Didn't know it went that far. I thought it was just speculation.
No speculation.
Kevin Spacey openly admitted, I am a creep.
Men and women.
I am a fucking creep.
He got caught off of a dude.
Kevin Spacey, horny ass. That's funny.
So it's just like, this stuff, like, this is literally you just being raked over the coals for a bit. And somebody else is going to fuck up and then we're going to forget about you.
He don't want y'all to do that.
What, forget about him?
He don't want y'all to rake him over the coals. He said, cut that out. It hurts.
I mean, he's already been raked over the coals. No one's bringing up what Kevin Hart did anymore. He didn't host the Oscars, which is, by the way.
People are saying he's not funny. He don't want y'all to do that.
That has nothing to do about you, what you said. It's just has more to do about you not terrible.
Well, he's saying that slander started with the whole cancel culture and everything like that.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think nobody was saying that for a very long time.
I just think he's trying to associate something. He's like, for some reason, he's associating this negativity that he's getting to the other negativity that he got. It's just like, this is all together. This is when I first saw it. No, this is when people were actually screaming at the rafters because you were at your lowest point, and that's when it had the most punch. Like somebody kicking you when you're up and kicking you when you're down are two totally different things. It's just like, well, damn, that hurt a whole lot more. When I'm inside this inopportune, and I was about to host the Oscars, which is, by the way, you're probably better off not hosting the Oscars. It's not like it actually ever does anything for anybody.
Well, it was just a dream of his. And he could have did it. He chose not to host the Oscars.
Well, he, for the most part, chose that he wasn't going to apologize again because he already did so.
But then he apologized after he stepped down.
I think that's what this whole cancel culture thing, I think that it's really not about what they dig up for you in the past, because we didn't all said something that we remember being offensive, or maybe it was offensive. We was trying to be offensive and we really didn't give a fuck about. But I think it's more so like kind of like a mind control thing, where it's like you must acquiesce or getting people to be like, don't you fucking say anything that we don't fucking want you to say. I think it's more so about apologizing for that. I don't think it's about what people are actually doing.
Okay. Well, speaking of cultures canceling people,
there's someone that we shouldn't be canceling, and her name is Melli Monaco.
Oh, you really replaced your whole topic.
Oh, no, I'm going to that, but I'm talking about Melli. I told you I was talking about Melli Monaco. I was serious. So if you don't know who Melli Monaco is, you need to go and subscribe to her channel because you haven't gotten the gospel. She is going to give you all the words on, 1, how to test women. 2, how to make a woman run back to you if she is trying to leave. And 3, how to make a woman be extremely into you.
Can we scroll up?
Yeah.
It's just like,
I
Such
needed-
a subconscious ass thing.
I needed her name. So you can't see her name. What's her name if you were right here? How would I know it?
I told it to you already.
Look, I don't remember people's names that I meet in real life. You think I remember the name that you said
Can we
like
scroll up?
30, 40 minutes ago?
You'll understand what we're saying if you watch any of her videos.
But yeah, she is letting you know
You will understand.
about all of the ways that you need to be mysterious and make women invest in you and not be such a nice guy. Like, she was giving us the gospel. And I
whole
just,
songs about this.
and we watched 3 different videos from her, and I just want to get the room's opinion on her.
Don't look at. Why are you looking at me?
Because you're the only person who-
opinion.
I
You're the
want
only
Charles'
person.
opinion too.
But don't look at me then.
How you feel about it, Charles, and all the things that she said?
Oh, I'm fairly indifferent. It's very possible that it will work, but my problem is I don't think it's gonna create a lasting condition that I want to operate in.
Tell him again. Repeat that. Repeat it. Go ahead.
It's just
Say
like
that shit.
this is probably fine if you are looking for like for temporary stuff, yada yada. Well, not necessarily temporary, but if you're looking for something that you're not guaranteed that is actually gonna be rock solid, it's like, all right, cool, we in this relationship, and then very likely there's like, because whenever you send your hook out, it's not like you get back what you want all the time.
I feel like, why did you get that? Why did you get that what she was telling us couldn't be long lasting?
Huh?
Because you already starting off with
because it's
bullshit.
based on a manipulation. So it's either you have to continue this manipulation forever,
Or it wasn't even that good to begin with. It's already faulty
or
as
you
fuck.
got to figure out a way to like. It's like building your house on sand. You can do it the right way, but this can only be like one of your anchors. If it's your only anchor, you're gonna get swept away into the sea, and you might be salty about that. You might not really care.
Yeah, I don't think that she was saying that those are the only things, and that she wasn't saying how to build a relationship. Y'all are talking about.
I understand that. Like,
She was giving techniques on how.
to get what you
she
want.
giving techniques to niggas that don't really care about the bitch. They just want to feel good.
I mean, if everyone's engaging inside of that degree, it's just like,
Cause the same shit she be saying is what other bitches be saying about getting men. Like, you be like, oh, okay. Then after a while, you be like, this is the dumbest shit in the world. I'm not taking advice from you. This is retarded.
I mean, depending upon what you want.
What's up, guys?
Go to how to make a man obsessed over you. Go to the same one. I promise you, it's the same shit. I'm not joking. It's the same tactics. Don't
I'm not
be
saying that
mysterious. It's like, okay, whatever.
I'm not saying that they're not the same tactics.
Make yourself scarce.
Yeah, make sure you buy him thing. Ask him to buy you a fucking pair of headphones. Like, bitch, I heard this shit before. Where are we getting this stuff?
I mean, me getting you headphones is not gonna make me stay with you. They're your headphones.
I know. That's why
And
it's so stupid.
depending upon the way it actually broke, and you want me to stay around, those headphones are gonna remind you of me for the rest of your life.
Bruh.
It's just like, that is a talisman of me.
Like I said, she got 50%. You right, girl. Go ahead, teach these men how to nab these motherfuckers. Go ahead. I support all of this shit. She not doing the other half, though, which is fantastic.
I feel like it's my job to bring a daily dose or a weekly dose of fuck shit to the podcast. That's what I do every week. Y'all know? I feel like that's my job.
If that's the role that you want to fulfill.
All right, go ahead, fulfill that role,
Well,
Tony.
why
You
not?
good at it.
Because I feel like
I never said it was bad. We never said it was good. Why are you taking that from this?
I not once said that you said it was bad. You
Oh.
just made a lot of inferences. All I said is, why shouldn't I do it? And I was going to go on to why I do it, which is because I feel like, look at all of these people that are listening. She has what?
I mean, she got the up.
And
Her
that-
up to
damn,
download
from the
ratio is
16th.
wild.
Yeah, it's great. 100 and no, she has 12K.
To 150.
Yeah, likes to 150 dislikes. Great ratio. She got
Probably got pretty good viewer engagement.
over a
And this
quarter
niggas
of a
ain't
million
there. Yeah, girl,
views.
say that shit.
Oh,
Go ahead.
So that means that this is
I don't know.
Pretty-
She's giving more effective
pretty
advice than Kevin
widespread-
Samuels is.
I mean, it's pretty widespread on her advice. So this is probably a pretty widespread opinion.
Mhm.
It's just
So I just like to have like counterbalance. This is what this show is about.
no. I just find it hilarious because now that I've stumbled upon it, it's just like she just give you the direct route. Kevin Samuels wants you to sign up for a self-help program. It's just like, nah, dog. If somebody gonna scam you over something or somebody gonna get you, I'm gonna get you and I'm actually gonna give you the real word. This is how you get what you want. Now, don't expect no long-lasting relationship from this. That's not what you're here for.
Exactly. You just want this bitch to say you got her. Or man, hey, this is the same fucking information being spewed on both sides. You just want this motherfucker to make you feel good. Whatever. Okay. You know, you still want mommy or daddy to take care of you. I understand, peoples. Go ahead. Go ahead and get that shit. It's gonna work.
You gotta
It's effective, ain't it? Ain't it, Tony?
No.
What else was effective?
Yeah, what else is effective?
I don't know. I don't do this. I just found it on the internet.
What's ineffective? What else is ineffective?
It wasn't effective there. What don't work?
Staying alive in prison if you are a billionaire.
Oh.
I tried to give you I gave you a better transition.
No, I like this one. This one don't work. That's what don't work. Staying alive because this nigga dead. And if you don't know who we're talking about John McAfee.
All right.
And it is conspiracy theory time. I got my conspiracy theory cards on me. Yeah. Ash didn't know I was going to put the conspiracy theory war paint on.
You could have actually put some cards from conspiracy on you. There's an actual set called that.
I'm not paying for that when we're not on camera. That's on camera. Hey, look at what I got. But anyway, so John Epstein was found in his prison cell, hung.
In New York?
No, in Spain.
Well,
Barcelona.
that wasn't Epstein.
Not Epstein. Wow.
McAfee.
John McAfee was found in Barcelona, hung. And just like days and weeks before, he was tweeting that he would never kill himself, that he was doing really well in prison, that if he did end up hung, that wasn't him. And so he had been doing a lot of conversations about like government and policies and like just how like, you know, there's elected officials that we vote on or whatever. Not us because fuck the niggas, but in general. But then there's also like the CIA and the
appointed
SEC
officials.
and
Appointed officials. That's what those people are. Street level bureaucrats.
yeah. Them niggas just make regulations that affect all of our lives. And we don't ever really have to like decide on them, get to hear about how they made a decision on. They just happen to us. So he did a lot of talking about that and then he ends up dead. And I just think it's real weird.
Who appoints the head of the SEC? Who appoints the head of the SEC?
Who polices the head?
Who appoints him?
What the fuck is the SEC?
SEC won't
The
let
Security
me-
Exchange.
Exchange Commission. Oh, have you never listened to Eminem song? The SEC won't let me be and let me be me.
Oh,
so
the
let me-
FCC.
Oh, FCC, SEC.
I'm like, what the fuck is the SEC? Where
Well,
have I
SEC,
been?
FCC.
Okay, the FCC. Yes, I've heard of that.
SEC won't let me be, let me be me. Won't let me-
Look,
I don't
who is
know why
the
I reason why-
FCC?
I
They're
don't know.
appointed by the president.
I know. So you actually do vote on the head of the SEC because it's an appointed position.
But even
No, you
then,
vote on the president.
You vote on the president, and you set it up. So that means the cabinet is, and you know the types of people that they're more likely to put inside the cabinet, their cabinet. Just like the head of the FBI, the head of the CIA, all these things, all appointed by the president. That's kind of the reason why voting for the president matters.
But then they last for 5 years, so longer than whatever president sits.
Yeah, because you know why you stand for 5 years? 4 while the president's there, 1 during transition. And most presidents end up staying in for 8 years. There's only been one. There's not that many 1-term presidents.
It was
weirdo who kept the heat at 68 and a bunch of bike
heat at 68. What? I am so confused.
That do sound like some American history 4 shit you gotta learn the random facts in class. Did you know that Theodore Roosevelt?
No, it's not Theodore Roosevelt
who is it? Woodrow Wilson. You know, tell me. I swear to God, if it's from anybody in 1960, I'm gonna punch you in the leg.
I don't actually remember him.
Oh, okay.
But I know it's him and a couple of presidents after assassinations.
There you go, Ash.
He has his cock in a mask.
Yeah. And that's the moment that I knew that he was just crazy.
Why?
Why? Yeah. What? I just want to know the story behind this picture for real.
Because that's a thing that people started doing to protest wearing masks.
Oh, okay.
There were people wearing maskinis.
I can't stop staring at his penis.
It was just like... It's just weird. It's just like these people, they're not actually accountable to us. No, that's not how this entire system works. You're just kind of saying things. Also, he was just quoting other things and not really saying anything particularly original. And he's a software mogul. The funny thing is just like, I have 78 gigabytes of information. You already know. If you know anything in the age of quantum computing, nothing's really secure. Did you know pretty soon your crypto wallet's not going to be secure?
Yeah.
So that means there's like an entire race for another encryption algorithm to make sure quantum computing can't crack it. It's just a wild thing. Nothing's really secure. And he probably didn't. And just because you tweet that I would never kill myself. Or just because you tweet things. What? How are you tweeting in jail?
Niggas get whole cell phones in jail. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not the thing.
I mean, you can have whole
jail, but he was tweeting continuously.
No, niggas be like active on social media in jail.
Looking for bitches.
I don't understand how, but I've also never been to jail, so I couldn't tell you.
I've also seen this behavior.
But I do know that it happens.
I know there's some computer time, but...
No. These niggas have like Facebook iPads pages or something. Like, my dad was talking about it. Like how they would have like these iPads and shit that have like a certain set of like number of like applications that they can do. And
yeah.
Like can like watch movies and shit like that.
I mean, jail sounds a lot more entertaining than it used to be inside of like when they filmed Life back in the day.
Yeah, no, it's completely different from what I understand.
Nobody working on the chain gang anymore?
Yeah, no, from what I understand, you're watching movies and sitting around in a box all day. So I don't really know exactly how jail is, but...
And I imagine Spanish jail is actually meant to reform you.
I would assume.
It's just like...
But he was all over the Spanish countries. He was in Guatemala where he had... a compound with a harem and a standing militia, and he was in neighborly war with his beachfront owner, American neighbor, who hated his dogs because he just let his dogs run freely, so the neighbor poisoned the dogs, and then he ended up shot. John McAfee ran and went to
another
Belize, yeah, and then they kicked him out.
Apparently, he's not really about that life.
After he left Belize, he was in Miami where he spent a night with a prostitute who he paid $2,000 to cuddle. He later married her a few months later.
Legendary cuddling. Them snuggles.
He said, I wasn't worried about fucking. I just wanted
intimacy.
Teach me how to snuggie.
Yeah, that's all he wanted. He wanted some intimacy.
Shut the fuck up. I hate you.
But
which he was already married somewhere else. He be out here marrying all these women. He don't care about these laws.
No.
He flouts the laws.
He said
be out here killing people.
He said that that's all deep government and secret state, and that they're controlling all of us, and that them having absolute power corrupts.
Absolute power corrupts, absolutely, yada, yada, yada.
But my other conspiracy theory, since you don't like this one, Charles, is about the reason that the government is telling us about aliens right now.
Oh, did you hear about the aircraft that they really don't know where the fuck came from? it was like it's like beating like the sound barrier or some weird shit. Like they're like, no, we really don't know what the fuck this is. We can't identify it. There's nothing like this that we have.
Well, we think that. Well, the theory is that they're telling us about aliens and probably going to allow that to be like the main focal point in a few years for just basic people, so that way they can I guess basically galvanize us and all give us one thing to be focused at, while it turns into a classist elitist system where the rich have like a way out of this, and we kind of just are focused on us versus the aliens instead of us versus black and white. It'd be us versus them. So just another target for us to focus on.
I can get with that one because they always trying to put us up against some fucking weirdo ass enemy.
It's like some random 3-car Monty is just like they might be figuring out that the blacks aren't the problem.
Yeah.
It's just like,
so we're gonna bring the aliens.
Something else. Yeah, the gray people.
Yep. So they're gonna bring in aliens.
They're always trying to put you up against something. If you watch the news, it's just like some opposition against you, against some random stranger. You should always have your guard up because people are just fucking dying every fucking day. You don't want to fucking starve, do you? You don't want to die. That's what the news is trying to think that it's preventing you from doing. So I can see that shit. It's just another. They just want you focused on anything else but yourself and how your household looking.
Oh, I mean, ultimately, they're not wrong, probably. I mean, even if they're wrong, they're only so wrong. Because it's just like, we're still dealing with a fairly classist, elitist system, regardless of what situation that we're in. So it's like, if we stay the same as us versus the white people versus the minorities, if we change it to that is all the poor people versus the gray people, and maybe the cops stop killing black people, I guess that might be.
But how would you know about any of that stuff if nobody reported it? You wouldn't give a fuck. Because if I don't need the weather, just go outside.
Weather predictions were more for understanding what happens, like preparing whether it's like knowing whether or not you should take an umbrella. Like, yeah, there's a certain degree of
But you don't need to know that every fucking day. But you also need to know
Some
that.
motherfuckers don't like getting rained on. Some people are allergic to water.
What did niggas do before then? They was just fine. I never heard in history somebody like, I wish somebody would write this shit down every day.
Y'all think our country is worried about the value of our currency?
Nah, because they keep forcing debt and making all these random ass and not random inflation, but they just keep pumping out money for.
In comparison to like other currency values, like on a world scale.
I mean, ours has been pretty much the linchpin of the entire world for a while. The US dollar is pretty commonly traded on and is pretty important, and pretty much is one of those currencies that's pretty much taken no matter where you go, probably except China.
I mean, but
and North Korea.
We're also in China's pocket really, really, really. Or they're in our pocket. Either way that you want to say it. But
I mean,
a lot of money is owed to China.
The entire thing about owing money to China, that's where most people think the Third World War is actually going to happen, because people are going to start defaulting on our loans to China, and China's going to want the American government to forcibly and like force people to pay back those loans. And there's technically, like, the internet, there is no SEC for the international stage. So there's nothing that says that if this government took money from China, that our government has to enforce them giving that money back to China.
True.
So we're pretty much and that's where a lot of people think like this could actually probably start a war at some point.
Yeah, you can't just tell them no.
So it's just like, well, no. Well, we're about to show up over there. Well, we've been investing for a very long time and we need the raw commodities. So y'all start this smoke if y'all really want to.
I mean,
it's just like,
I don't think that'd be the best decision, but I also think
it's not a good decision at all.
That's kind of why, like, our government and banking systems are one pushing like us to work really, really heavily, and two, you're not allowed to like buy cryptocurrency and like trying to regulate that. I think it's them trying to protect the value of the American dollar.
Yes, but the thing about cryptocurrency is pretty much like it's supply and demand 101. If a lot of people want if people just stop wanting cryptocurrency, it's not going to be worth anything. Because if nobody wants to buy it at $1,600, then it's not fundamentally worth $1,600. That's the way kind of things work. And with the McAfee thing, when it came to cryptocurrency, the issue wasn't that I believe that he was taking cryptocurrency, is that he wasn't paying taxes on the worth of the cryptocurrency. And he was just taking it, converting it, and not paying anything on it. And the fact that he ran away for tax evasion is still wildly stupid to me.
That's why I think it's weird. That
I don't think that. I don't think no one. Even Wesley Snipes was like, well, I just got to go through this.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think
it doesn't seem like that's a large enough offense to want to kill yourself. It sounds like, like, oh, there's going to be some tough times, but
that's why I don't think that's shit.
Well,
like, who
more so his issue is where are they going to extradite him to? Were they extraditing him to America? Or were they extradite him to the place that killed him?
No, America. The killing, no one talks about. They don't care about that. They just let that go.
That's wild.
He got back to Miami and had his prostitute, and there was no talks of charges or anything like that. Because he got kicked out of Belize because he killed somebody in Guatemala. He ran to Belize trying to seek political asylum, got deported back to Miami, and where he met his prostitute wife. And no one cared about him killing anybody.
For a couple of boons.
And then left.
I mean, but from everything that I'm saying from this dude, it's not like he's particularly well adjusted.
I just don't understand why if you're just going to face tax evasion charges, that's just a slap on the wrist for real.
Yeah, they're just gonna make you.
So he evaded some real amounts of taxes.
Even if it's not a slap on the wrist and you do some prison time, you're gonna go to the Fed, and it's not. It's nothing to kill yourself over. Is what I'm saying. You
never do prison off a tax evasion if you can actually afford to pay the money back.
Yeah. You're
gonna pay pretty much 300% of what you.
And
probably
the dude like him
did.
that made a whole enterprise on antitrust. I'm pretty sure he's I'm gonna say maybe he's a good businessman. Maybe he know how to make that money to pay it back. So
I think he sold McAfee.
I mean, but
he did.
To get to that point, it's not like you can't do it again.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
He's like Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk did the PayPal thing and everything. Like I said, if you can do that one time, all you need to do is get it right once, and you can keep doing it again. And
he had other people build it. Is what I mean.
I mean, he made a couple other things. He made a messenger. I don't know what it was called because I obviously didn't look into all of that because I was more interested in.
I'm not saying that he's only made one thing, but McAfee,
I don't know how
McAfee was the thing that really hit for him.
Well, yeah, and obviously the McAfee is the thing that he's really known for because him and it have the same name.
Off of that pretty soon.
I mean,
you can't, nigga. McAfee for life, gang, gang.
What would you call it? That brand identity is so fucking strong.
Yeah.
What else you gonna call it? Himself after marrying.
No one even thinks about it. No one even.
I'm like, let me get rid of this McAfee.
I see McAfee.
Yeah, that's
the guy who killed himself after marrying a hooker. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask Charles this question. Yeah, why do you trust that like so much? Like, why is like the media, like the news that you get face value?
I don't necessarily trust the media. I also don't trust the articles
that's written. No, it could be anything. I just feel like, I don't know, like, if it just seemed like it's all, like, a whole bunch of backlash, like, everything sometimes don't be dealing with, like, it just seemed like, it's just fucking stupid.
All right. It may be a certain degree of bias because in high school, I actually did do newspaper stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I follow people who are, credible journalists, like Wes. Wes won a Pulitzer.
Mm-hmm.
For his cover. Like, do you remember when in Ferguson, Missouri, there was a journalist who got arrested while he was in McDonald's typing up an article?
No.
Okay. Well, that was him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, by knowing a lot of these dudes and like seeing the way that they actually walk and talk, I'm not saying every single news fixture is actually credible, but I also kind of do have a certain belief inside the press that is not necessarily owned by large conglomerates and corporations. Like the Plain Dealer is still fairly independently held. Boston Globe fairly independently held, but I don't like trust the New York Post. I don't trust the Washington Post a lot like that, just because of the fact it's just like we're writing really nice articles about Jeff Bezos. Why? Because Jeff Bezos owns us.
Okay.
Like there's a certain degree of proof in the pudding, and like the unification of the private sector with the fact that newspapers and things like that became more of a for-profit industry more than a information industry is more so the problem. Because it's just like people watch the news for entertainment. They don't watch it for information. Dry news would not actually keep any butts in seats.
Yeah, so they wouldn't make money. You'd have to create a system where news was paid in a different way.
I mean, that's quintessentially what happened, because the news as a function was saved by the American government. And what basically happened was they got a tax exclusion and they, like, I do believe between the hours of 8 and 9 on every single news station that's still considered to be a news station, because Fox is no longer a news station. They call themselves Fox News because of brand identity, but they say everything that they do is still entertainment. Whatever. But CNN sold us up from 8 to 9. None of the money that they make during that time is taxed. Zilch,
prime
none.
time. That's funny.
Because there was a point in time where they went to the American government and said, we're about to go under. We need to be saved. What would it take? We need you as an organization to tell the American people, like, what the hell is going on from this time to this time. And as long as you do that, we will help to save your industry. They're
That's
like,
wild. Especially because if you think about it, man.
But
that's crazy.
When it
Where were you about to take that?
Because I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, well, think about even if you just think about what TV is, in order to get you kind of hooked to TV, how do I say that shit? One of the bases of hypnosis and how you can program your subconscious mind is by looking at a flashing light. You could actually program your mind by looking at a candle, because it's a light in front of you flickering. If you stare at it long enough and tell yourself things long enough, you could actually program yourself. Same thing with a TV. So that's just kind of funny how the primetime work, because that's where they kind of gear you up most to watch most of the TV. So that's kind of funny, like the government like gives you an incentive to have like the most fear-based shit on during that time. So,
well, it wasn't meant to necessarily be fear-based. It was meant to be just pure information.
But why? But like, what was the information like before the government stepped in?
Well,
we don't know. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Before they did that, they just didn't have stuff like that. The news wasn't a regular fixture until the American government had this happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That can't be a coincidence either.
I mean, I'm not going to say that the world was hurt by 60 Minutes existing. So I don't necessarily think that's true. But I will also say that when the minute that you said the fact that we haven't rescinded this like information is just like, you know, these things are no longer small things. They are multi-billion-dollar conglomerates.
Right, and I just don't think that's
it's time for that to get taxed.
Yeah, I don't think that's by accident though. The incentive is I save you, but you also help me. You say what the fuck I want you to say, bitch.
Well, it's not. The government is supposed to be a representation of the people, so it's like we save you, you help us.
They're supposed to, but I don't think that they necessarily are a lot of the time. I know their job.
That's an indicative issue of things like the Electoral College and things like that. Landmass votes, not people. There's other things that we the people want to change, but in order for certain people to stay in office, they want it to stay the same.
Yeah, I think it's a government behind the government.
No.
Why not?
We have enough governmental issues as it is. I mean, if you want to say a government behind the government, like the Koch brothers or something like that,
or just different influencers, like the people that we see today is just kind of like face value. This is not where it's going on. We actually have more nefarious things. We have other people that's really telling you what to do. Like senators really, like all that shit could just be for show, what we see.
Oh, not necessarily like that.
No.
I more so look at it like the Koch brothers give you so much money that you're going to do whatever the Koch brothers want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that all the billionaires kind of run whatever like economy they exist in.
Quite essentially, I mean, they have the most overall inertia. The 1% owns more than the bottom 99%. So it's just like,
yeah, that's why I also think the world's going to become more classist. I think that all the billionaires worldwide are just going to start more and more just operating amongst themselves, even beyond like global
there aren't
barriers.
that many billionaires worldwide. That's the thing. They're really only here in Saudi Arabia.
There's some billionaire Chinese.
Yeah, well, Chinese, but the thing about things operating in China, 50% of all of China, anything in China is owned by the Chinese government. So if billionaires start acting out of pocket there, they'll just take their shit.
Well, I don't think they're going to start acting out of pocket. I don't think that's necessarily what I'm saying. I think that all governments are, like I said, going to move more towards a classist system where it's more about, like, shit, it costs more right now to be outside, just in general. You have to just spend more on gas, food costs more, housing costs more. It's like they said, sit in the house for a year, and then when you got back outside, they increase the cost of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, in general. I mean, we sat in the house for a year. No one wants to take the jobs that they used to have because they don't need to. A lot of people, they leveled up during this entire crisis, and they moved up in life. And now a lot of those lower level workers, they moved up inside the echelons because they needed, a lot of these organizations needed other people. And now that they got other people, they are just randomly up. Now they have to pay everybody more because like labor is actually worth something. And when labor is worth something, they have to pay more. When people have to pay more, they tend to transfer the cost to the people, not to themselves, because profit margin needs to stay high because our holders need to continue to make money. I mean, if we would stop buying some things, it's just like, oh, our prices went up. Well, I'm not buying it anymore. The prices will go back down, or the company would go out of business.
Yeah, but that's not how most things are going to operate. Like,
yeah, I understand that's hyper idealized.
I mean, because you're going to stop buying water?
My water bill did go up. I don't buy water as it is.
I mean, people do buy water. Water is a very common, purchase. This nigga said I don't buy water.
You buying water, bitch.
I know. Everywhere that I work at every place that I go to work at has water fountains. And in my house, we just got a Brita pitcher with filters, cheapest margin by a mile, and we keep that shit warm like savages.
That's nasty. Fucking drinking warm water. What is wrong with y'all?
Because drinking warm water is supposed to be better for your body than drinking cold water.
How?
The coldness frees up fat.
No, it just less shock to your body.
Less shock to your body. So, do all other cold drinks not shock your body?
Who said we drink anything else besides water?
Gang.
I'm just saying that if
y'all got so mad,
there is
so you niggas out here drinking warm water.
There is literally just warm water.
That's fine, but when y'all
Tony is looking at me like
you got so passionate.
No, because when they go out to restaurants, I know y'all not asking them for water with no ice. They're not giving you warm water. I guarantee it.
They're not giving me 100% warm water, but they're not giving me freezing cold water.
No, they're not giving you freezing cold water. But all I'm saying is, if you drink other
I'm
things
up here
that are cold,
like it's not like y'all ask for water with no ice.
I mean, but if you're getting something cold to drink,
I order most of my drinks with no ice.
Doesn't it shock your system regardless?
No. That's like saying, does jumping into something that's 0 degrees hurt you less than jumping into something that is 90 degrees? There is still a difference.
No. What I'm saying is
if you get yes, you are shocked regardless, but there is less of a shock the less of the temperature differential.
You don't give a fuck about that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a fucking ice cold soda and the ice cold water shock you the same.
The shock is the same, but the soda is definitely worse for you.
Yeah, but what people keep saying is, oh, you can't drink cold water, but then they go get an ice cold soda. That shit don't make sense. It's not like they're drinking all warm drinks is what my point is. Sure, maybe you're trying to make that choice for yourself, but most people are not just drinking warm soda and a warm glass of milk. No, they're drinking this shit ice fucking cold, but then telling me that, oh, cold water fucking shocks my system. Bitch! So all the other cold shit just don't do nothing. You're saying
the arbitrary line is pointless for most people.
Yes.
It's just like, you're not going out there just getting things with no ice. Yes, I am.
That's not what most people are doing.
It's just like, all right, Charles, we're about to go into a full, that is you.
Yes.
We're going to go from this is you to most people.
Yeah, because most people are not, this is not how people operate. They're like, yeah, I'm going to not drink
most
cold
people
water.
Are sitting up here like, I'm going to get this icy extra cold, bitch.
Yeah, but I only
my
drink.
My brain is frozen. I'm going to keep drinking.
Do they only drink warm water? Yeah, but I only drink my water warm.
Why are you drawing this arbitrary line?
Excuse me. Because don't you keep the juice in the refrigerator? I'm perplexed as fuck.
I've never seen this man that's more passionate about us today.
Like that shit.
Tony dislikes arbitrary lines
so often, and it just don't make no fucking sense. It's like
Tony dislikes arbitrary lines.
What the fuck are y'all talking about? Unless you have like a real
Sorry.
Unless you just out here drinking everything. Everything warm.
Like warm ass fucking water. This nigga perked up and everything.
It's like shit.
Balls deep in his phone.
Even if you go with no, because it shocks your system and water's to hydrate you. All right, cool. You're right. So you drink your Pedialyte warm?
Hell yeah.
All right, because if you don't, then shut the fuck up. Because you're still not doing it.
This nigga
everything.
about to choke somebody. I'm away from
feel like Tony
I don't want to be in the basement with you no more. Oh my fucking God.
Irritating.
The energy this nigga just put on you need to sage yourself.
I keep my juice at 55 degrees Fahrenheit.
I just made myself sweaty. I'm hot. I'm frustrated. That shit made me mad.
He got the meat sweats.
We can go to Ash's topic. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm mad. I'm out here. So you good? Do you need to stand or anything?
All right. What you got, Ash? What you got, Ash? We talking about that video?
We talking about that video from your proud African. Don't talk about that is one of my teachers right there. So I can't let that pass. No.
You can't let that slide?
No. Don't you talk about my teacher like that.
Yes, your teacher?
That's one of them. Yes.
So you gonna let me talk about Miss Jones from 5th grade?
She
don't call that bitch.
Fuck that bitch. The fuck? Put me in the fucking corner, bitch. I'll fucking kill you and your family.
Someone got influenced by Tony.
Hell yeah, I did. I always already thinking this way. Tony he say his shit out loud. I just don't say my crazy shit out loud.
If Tony ever got put in the corner, he'd probably just be able to entertain himself inside the corner. It's just you think my ADHD brain is gonna stop because I'm in the corner? Bitch, you just gave me a whole blank canvas.
Once I start hanging with them class clowns,
I used to get told that, no, you have to stand still in the corner.
Bitch.
That's not what you said in the beginning. You just told me to go stand here. I was doing all kinds of other shit.
You don't get to errata the punishment.
Yeah, you need to stand still. Well, you just said stand in the corner. I stood in the corner, and then I was playing with my hands, dancing around. I was having a great time in this corner by myself, and now you're mad. I don't understand.
It's like, motherfucker, are you over here doing that? Are you like
enjoying your solitude?
Yeah,
bitch.
Yeah, I'm having a great time by myself. Great time. Yes.
When you talking about, I'm thinking about songs that don't even exist. This Freddie Gibbs songs from Bangs.
This nigga said,
it's one of them gang songs.
I'm an only child. And this is where I thrive in.
Yeah.
It's like you distracted.
I was like, be by myself and have no one bother me. Big bet. What are you talking about? This is exactly the environment that I wanted to be in the beginning.
This is my dream.
Y'all just keep bringing me here with all these other people.
Little did you know I punched that other kid because he wouldn't leave me alone. So you force him to leave me alone? If you did this to begin with, he wouldn't have gotten punched.
That is very true.
What do you do? You do your job out of order, lady.
Yep. But I like this corner, and you mad because I like the corner. So let's find a different way to punish me because being still in the corner is actually not going to work. So you're just going to keep yelling at me because I literally can't be still. That is like you can ask anybody that has ever spent a decent amount of time with me.
Unless he's absolutely focused on something.
Yeah, unless I'm zoned in, I'm moving around and doing multiple things at one time.
But the minute you crack that focus.
Yeah.
I'm watching anime while having two different conversations.
Because that's how life got to go. But how do you feel about that video, Charles?
The question is wealth given to you or is it earned?
I mean, the way that he explained it for the most part is pretty much like you hit wealth for people who don't already have wealth is like hitting the jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the most part, he pretty much came up and said, your ideas are probably worth more because the money that you can always have another idea that makes money, but not everybody can have good ideas. Which was, I guess, the second thing that I took from it. I don't know. I mean, to a certain degree, wealth is given to you because regardless, it's gotten from a somewhat transactional basis that you have to be giving them something and they have to be giving you something.
I guess, and more of what he was speaking of. Yeah, no, I think you hit it when he was saying about. Oh, my mind just got totally scrambled.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
that dread flip.
I didn't take that from him. What I got was more that you have to have the audacity to go for wealth. Wealth isn't something that is just wealth isn't earned. Like you're not gonna work yourself into wealth. Like you're not gonna.
It will take quite a few generations of work.
Yeah, like you're not gonna work at a
investment.
job and keep just getting your 401k and going there every day and getting a little vacation and save what you can save and build your way into like wealth. That is not the most effective way. Sure, it is a safe and cautious way, and eventually, generationally, you'll be secure, and your family might get there eventually. But in terms of like actually going for wealth, that's why I use the term the analogy with the men that bought the lottery ticket and how they took some of them back and were like, we can't afford these. You didn't have the audacity to believe in yourself. And so I guess that's what it was for me. It's like, if you have the audacity to claim this and then also go through and take it, then wealth will be on the other side of that. But you don't have any audacity to like even ask for it to be given to you. Like, hey, say that's mine. But like mean it. And most niggas say, nah, I want that. But then go work that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
They don't really mean that they want that.
They don't really know what the fuck they asking for. Like, now I see what I'm asking for in all aspects of my life. Now that I redefine what the term wealth means to me, now I see, like, you can't have it both ways. You can't, like they said, like, you want to win millions, but you're not willing to pull up the $200 right now. I don't think a lot of people know what the fuck they asking for. And even when he used that term with Oprah asking about her wealth, she was willing to sacrifice clearly whatever the fuck she had to do to become the status that she is. But I also have an issue with if you tell a poor person that it's not like, if you ask for it, how would y'all think telling somebody like that didn't make enough, that made, I don't know, $16,000 a year, just ask for wealth? How do you think someone's supposed to feel about that?
It's kind of the reason why I don't like those one sentence punchlines from self-help books.
Mm-hmm.
They're ultimately useless without the rest of the context. Nigga, stop making noise. What is wrong with you? See,
it's not being picked up, but
his ADHD brain.
I definitely was like, well, they're talking. I'm gonna throw these. I agree with what you're saying, but disagree. But continue.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I don't necessarily like the one word things from like any kind of self help anything. I don't think they're terribly useful because I think it took the entire context of the video in order to afford what he made. It was only like a 6-minute video, so it's just like I feel like you should probably just have the time to sit down and read it. It's just like wealth will be given to you. No,
yeah, that's why I don't like books like what is that? Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that book only because I think a lot of people can get fooled into trying to act like a millionaire, but they not missing the basis of, like you're saying, like having those ideas, those unique ideas that are very unique to you and you giving that back to the world instead of just following what you think would make you rich or following that career that make you rich or like with me and the whole owning a laundromat and real estate thing. The reason why I gave up on that is first off, I saw a video of real life, what it's like to run those things, about people like breaking into your laundromat, trying to steal them fucking quarters, about how he got his house. He owned a lot of houses, but the people that left there just leaving the shit in fucking ruins with roaches, and he left was like $2,000 water bill. I'm like, oh, things that I don't give a fuck about anymore. Those two things. But then I realized what it was. I was just scared to just go off my own talents and my own ideas and taking a risk on myself. I just bought into the idea that these things have been work, and the people that try to get you, like the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If that shit really works for everybody would be fucking rich that picked up that book.
everybody can't be rich.
I disagree.
No?
Yeah. I think that a lot of the reason that self-help books start off the way that they do and have those one-liners or have, I guess,
Quotables.
Not even that, just a certain level of like missing context, as you would call it.
To get you to buy them. I know what it is.
Well, no, even when you're reading them, I would say, because if your mind isn't ready to make a change, if you're not in the real position to want to change, then regardless of what you read, learn, or someone tells you, you're going to be the exact same person. Ashley go tell her parents all the stuff that she knows about life and spirituality and how to operate more effectively and how to operate in a better way that could probably produce a lot more happiness for them. But if they're not ready to receive that information, it don't matter what the fuck she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same for people with books. But the only difference is people like to feel good about themselves. So the act of buying the book and listening to it and then saying the quotables makes them feel good.
Yeah.
They don't need to take anything else away from it. They've achieved what they were looking for because they're still operating on the plateau of everything needs to engage my emotional center of feeling good about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because this book isn't about feeling good. It's about going through some hard shit, recognizing, hey, some of my shit is fucked up. Hey, I have to choose what things I want to keep in my life, and then also recognize that keeping these things in my life is going to make me sometimes go through pain. Sometimes I'm going to sacrifice for these things. But that's not what most people want to go through. So no, they buy the books, but they're still operating on a level of, I just want to enjoy pleasure and happiness. So if that's all you looking to get out of it, then yeah, all you're going to get is the quotables because those sound good. And so yeah, for you, when you run across people that aren't really nuanced in like themselves, all they're going to give you is a quotable. They're not going to live it. They're not going to actually like internalize, all right, well, what does this really mean?
Sacrifice.
If I look at it for myself, all right, hey, if that woman cheated on me, I'm mad about that. All right, cool. You mad about that. What level of accountability do you place on yourself inside of that situation? If it's none, that's fine. But then you also probably have a level of growing to do because sure, she did something that hurt you. But there's probably a level of accountability that you have. Either you picked the wrong partner, you found traits that you overlooked, but there is a level of accountability because you placed yourself in the situation.
There was something that you possibly missed unless you randomly just started cheating at the drop of a dime, where there was probably something personality wise that you fundamentally missed.
Yeah, it ignored. Like
and
that
just like, it's
like unless she like just go crazy and just lose her mind and then she had never cheated, was the most like...
She had an actual psychological break. It is just like, well, what am I supposed to do about that?
Yeah, then that's just obviously an outlier. But for the most part, you've put yourself in a situation, so there isn't a level of accountability, but people don't like that.
I mean,
especially when it's something that negative happens to them. I don't have any fault. This happened to me. How do I have any accountability for things that happen to me? Because you put yourself in that situation, but no one takes any of that perspective. So I think that's how it's kind of like similar to this, is where people who want to actually get what he's trying to present to them, you'll be able to garner. That's why, like, in the first minute and a half, I was like, oh, I understand it. I got it. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, we listened to the rest of it, but I already knew, all right, this is where he's going, and you need the audacity to want these things. Wealth can be however you define it. For Ash, wealth is her child being well-developed and well-rounded, her being financially secure, and not necessarily talk about like millions, but just able to like experience life in the way that she wants to experience it. And she's doing the things that's needed because that requires sacrifice of her actually being a parent to her child more than like allowing a school system to be a parent. Spending more of the time to actually engage her child and things like that. Like, you want wealth in a certain way and you actually are taking steps to go towards that, but most people don't. They say, I want to be rich, but they don't want to move towards it.
I mean, quintessentially, it just comes down to the good old sports idiom. Are you willing to call your own number? Just like, am I willing to go out there and do this?
Because that's even another part though, about how another thing that I wish she would alluded to is having that blind faith to even, you don't know what the fuck is on your path for real. And that's what I think scares people the most. You don't know what the fuck you about to go through. You truly don't know. And following those ideas, you don't know. Like last week, I know that Charles didn't agree with me and I said you should follow your heart in most situations, but ain't that what we doing here? Like, it's no logical way that we can say next month, if we do X, Y, and Z, we gonna get A, B, and C. So you have to have some sort of blind faith in each other and in the things that we doing in our creative pursuits to say, well, fuck it, I don't know what's on the other side of this one, but I'm gonna still go. That's where I say emotionality would lead you to, like, or for instance, like if me and Tony ain't agreeing on something, I'm still here after 2 years and I had a lot of reasons to bolt, but clearly there's something else that's driving me rather than just being here with him. So that's why I'm saying logically, yeah, I should fucking leave, but I'm not doing that because there's something that keeps me around that's bigger than what me and him may disagree on or things that didn't work. And I'm sure there's times where you've been like, nigga, I'm not fucking coming up there. I don't even like conscious reconstruction or whatever the fuck it may be. But there's something in you that's saying like, well, I'm going to keep going, not because of how I emotionally feel in this moment, but because something else is driving me to just either see this through to the end until I'm just be like, well, fuck it. I really can't do this anymore.
I think that's because we all operate in a level where being at a state of pleasure or everything needed to be a pleasurable situation isn't what we're always looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I completely and totally understand that what we're doing, or what, in order for us to be successful overall, there's going to be some degree of sacrifice and there's going to be some degree of hardship, or things aren't going to necessarily be easy, and it's not always going to be making money. But my thing about that is I'm willing to go through the sacrifice part, but I am a very, very dead serious person about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if anybody who has worked with us at any point in time and they decided to quit before things got easy and they try and pop back in when things get easy, I am 100% ubiquitous. Hell,
right,
fucking no.
You didn't fucking lost faith. You didn't see.
I'm not even in it for the face. You just weren't willing to sacrifice and sacrifice your own time.
But I'm saying it got to be something bigger than just the A, B's, and C's, you know what I'm saying, of why you're doing this. And it can't always be like, well, this is a logical point of view. It's just not. What other evidence do you have that this is really going to work out for you? You don't. So, like, you got to be able to take this risk to say, oh, well, I'm going to put something else in priority. I'm just going to do what for real is driving me. Just like sharing these ideas with y'all. Just the premise of this show, what Tony was trying to do was just like, well, damn, that's something I can rock with.
Oh,
maybe. But even though what we're doing as a whole is just something like, well,
maybe I'm
gonna keep going.
Maybe I'm condescending enough, or like full of myself just enough to say I believe that we can create a good enough product to the point where we can actually put this out here and people will enjoy whatever we want to consume.
Yeah, but how you getting
create.
there is totally up to the circumstances that's
there's a little bit of luck.
put in there.
A little bit of luck, but I think there's a lot of preparation and making sure lining things up. So it means when you're lining things up, so it means when your shot is finally shows up, you got to be able to, take that shot.
Yeah, you never know when that's coming, which is pretty, it's a pretty logical thing. You don't know how that's coming. So now you got to let go of your control of how that's going to be. That's what I'm saying. Like when I say do something from the heart, I'm saying those are the moments where things is getting tough and when you don't feel like it, what's going to keep you going from there? That's why I be so like
dedication.
Yeah, that's why I be so kind of hard on Black folks and talking about we need a leader. I don't know where you taking me, sir. I don't trust that your motivations is for the community at large. It seems like it's a selfish plight. That's would be the most thing I'd be like, well, sure, we can have a group thing, but the leader of it, he seems a little iffy. I don't know if this is coming from the heart from him. I don't know if he has my best interest at heart. That go for men in relationships. I don't think that you have my best, not even having my best interest at heart. It's just that you doing this for selfish reasons, for lustful desires, not just fucking, but you want to dominate, you want to control, you want to manipulate, whatever your goal is. It don't seem like it's from a place where if you didn't have,
holistic.
if you didn't have this material, whatever the fuck to stroke your ego, you wouldn't stay with it for the long run. And that's why I don't think people understand. Like, I didn't understand the things that I was asking for, the level of sacrifice. Like, even with relationships, I can't have casual flings and then want to be with somebody that really cares and all this other shit. You can't have it both ways. You dividing yourself up in so many things. You can't even see the nigga coming if he wasn't ready, because you just don't want to give up this one tiny thing. This one tiny thing in order to get the greater.
Like he got a tiny thing. I'm sorry,
no fucking. Let's be literal. I'm talking about fucking. You can't stop that for a second to just get this bigger thing that you're trying to get. You just put that down for 5 seconds and swear. That's something I had to learn. It's like, you can't have it both ways. Like, come pick, bitch. Like, you can't. And the same thing with wealth. Like, I don't believe in, like, my goal is to work part-time and to have a full-time income. I know that's going to be having a level of me building up to that point, but that's just what I'm willing to do for now. Like I said, I do think that wealth is inherently, it's not nothing that you have to, I don't know, the work that you put in, you feel like you earned it though. Like, is that inevitable to escape from? Because the work that you put in feel like work.
Yeah, but it's a lot of just pre-lining up for someone to kind of walk up and give you like the final thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, even with this, say we do this for God, no, for another 6-7 months, and then someone walks up and is like, hey, I like your show. We're willing to give you guys $5 million to be on our stuff for like a year. Mm-hmm. It's just like, yeah, we put in the work, but it's just like the $5 million. I don't think the $5 million validates the work. The work validates itself. But they just kind of walked up and gave us $5 million to keep doing what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And I think the level of work kind of presents itself. The consistency, the want to, the sacrifice, the willing to come through and not necessarily always to always try and put forth the best product, even though you're not necessarily feeling the best. So, yeah.
I guess I disagree. I don't think that sometimes moving the best financially isn't moving towards your personal sense of wealth.
Okay.
So I think that you kind of have to decide which one you want to, or if that isn't inside of your actual like view of wealth, like, hey, I want to be secure. But some people don't care about money on a like, I need more than to be a roommate.
That's true. it's not. Yeah, people's motivations just be geared towards, like you said, just having all those things. I want the Chanel bag. I want the Mercedes. And I don't really care about developing this other half of me.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that's eventually going to catch up with you. You could always shove it to the back. Sure. Go keep on what you do. But also, how do y'all think that affects y'all, our viewpoints on rich people? That somehow that maybe that they're inherently not the greatest people? Because I know I had a hard time dealing with that. Like, I didn't want to sacrifice my authenticity to be wealthy. And that's something that always scared me, really. If I had to be real honest with you, being rich, I thought being rich came with a level of you had to give up a part of yourself to get to those points.
Well,
and that's what kind of scared me away from attaining millions.
Depends upon how you get rich.
Mm-hmm.
If you inherit wealth, you can kind of be whoever you want to, kind of like Musk is.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just whoever I want to be. Why? Because, bitch, I got all this money from this sapphire mine. What you about to do to me? I was rich before I got here and just made myself richer. Whereas there's people like, since we were talking about it earlier, Kevin Hart.
Mm-hmm.
The entirety of his growth was completely and totally dependent on him engendering himself to other people and him getting other people to like him. So, and the funny thing is, yeah, Kevin Hart has a decent amount of money now. I wouldn't describe Kevin Hart as we can't possibly waste all this money wealthy. Like, so I think rich people are a lot more bothered than wealthy people. Wealthy people don't have to really care. Rich people do. Like, Brad Pitt has to care because it's very possible that he might not. He has to he possibly has to be a lot more disingenuous because he has to worry about getting another movie role. Even though he has this real nice house, real nice everything, so on and so forth, hundreds of millions of dollars in his bank. But part of him being who he is.
I think it's advantageous to be disingenuous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's why billionaires are.
Lying and telling you care about somebody, it's easier.
But I think that at some semblance, Ash is correct. You do have to be a shark or a predator in some state if you hope. Elon Musk could have been rich, yes, or wealthy with just a sapphire mine.
He's already is wealthy.
He could have been wealthy with just that without doing anything else.
Yep.
But no one would have known him. That's not what he wanted. But to reach the level that Elon Musk reached, he couldn't just not also be a predator. He could have chose to just be himself and be wealthy. But to do what he did in business, he had to choose to be a predator.
Yeah. If you ever seen a movie called Current War, so Edison, it was a thing between Edison, Westinghouse, and Tesla. And they all documented what happened between when Edison did the smear campaign against Westinghouse inventions. And that's what kept him going. And at the end of the movie, Westinghouse eventually won that war or whatever between them who could provide the electricity first. But Edison still was getting like all the recognition and everything because he was just more famous than Westinghouse. And Westinghouse for a long time would not, according to the movie, would not play dirty. And Edison was willing to do so. Like he was willing to be like, yeah, this nigga shit kill horses. And it took him pretty far until they found out the truth later on. And like I said, Westinghouse just ended up winning that particular battle. But Edison actually got more of the accolades because I didn't even know a motherfucking thing Westinghouse existed until I saw that goddamn movie. I'm like, what?
Yep.
I start Wikipedia and shit. I didn't know. But we all know Edison's name in this bitch, don't we?
I exist in weird circles.
But you know what I mean.
All of us grew up learning that
Edison
Thomas
was the
Edison
forefront of that, like bringing electricity here.
The forefront of
Not just you, Charles. Yes, we understand.
No, as a kid, you probably grew up without peripheral knowledge. The shit that they put in books and shit like that was, Edison. Now,
like,
you could have gotten
this. Tesla came up with DC, and Westinghouse was just another.
But that's not what you learned in kindergarten.
Yeah, we don't learn
I
about
didn't
that.
learn about Edison in kindergarten. I was learning how to spell, bro.
Did you learn that in first grade? About Westinghouse and the other two?
I didn't learn about Edison or any of those things.
Yeah, I never heard about Tesla until I got out of school.
When did you learn about electricity?
Electricity, I do believe.
Couldn't be.
We started dicking
grade.
around with currents and stuff like that in like 7th, 8th grade.
No. So y'all never just learned about the inventors of America and just different inventions, like who invented like light bulb, where they lie and say it's Edison and shit like that. So you just had
I mean, there was like more so of a passive thing, but there was never like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, no, of course you don't go in fucking in depth, because when you go in depth, then you got to start revealing some of the other
Well,
shit.
no, it's not even. I mean,
so in passing, yeah, you learned that it was Edison.
In passing, but I've always been a WVIZ or Z stream buff. So,
but that don't matter. We're not talking about you. We're just talking about what was given to general people.
We just know that Edison
is public access.
My nigga.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. But most niggas was watching cartoons and not looking.
I understand why you niggas ain't on my level.
Informational shit. So stop telling me about you. Stop telling me about you. Confused. I told you not to tell me about you no more in this podcast. I don't want to hear about you at all.
Channel 25 exists everywhere.
No.
Not Channel 25, but
yeah, but niggas ain't watching Channel 25 after 5, nigga. After Dragon Tales, guess what I'm doing?
I'm not watching
pizza.
that. Yeah, I'm not watching that.
The fuck? That's what most people are doing.
Yeah, Charles. So you got to stop talking about what you did.
Like, you see his face? He was like, why doesn't nobody know about Westinghouse?
Like I said, no one...
Y'all out here watching Wishbone?
Yeah, yes. What's the story of Wishbone? Oh, he didn't told me. Bye. So we go outside and change my school clothes.
We watched all the things that were for kids, and as soon as it got informational...
we left.
Yeah.
But that ain't nobody's fault. That's just what kids do, Charles. Sorry, you was just like
a
learning.
Weird kid. Yeah, you was a weirdo.
You just wanted to learn that.
You already said you were a weirdo.
Yeah, but the way he looked like you fucking idiot.
That's also true.
Yeah, so just acknowledge, hey, I was weird. I watched and learned this weird shit.
I
But most
people
just knew that Edison was the light guy.
For the most part, it's like everyone said Edison made the light bulb, but what if it was someone else? Westinghouse came up with this, and Tesla believes the electricity was incomplete to begin with because it was supposed to be completely and totally self-sufficient. Because Tesla actually finished it. Westinghouse as the person who actually gave it to the public, and Edison is the person who tried to like claim victory on everything.
He did.
But he claimed victory, but he made none of the money and got none of the actual scientific accolades.
He did.
No, he didn't. He has no scientific credit for any of the things he did.
He got a lot of credit.
He got a lot of public credit. Scientific credit is a very different thing.
So he made a lot of money.
Not.
Edison was a businessman. Edison paid for the inventions and things like this. That's what happened.
I don't, but like Westinghouse is still a thing.
Tesla died broke.
I mean, yes, Tesla died broke because he was a.
He wasn't
overly optimistic.
I'm not saying Westinghouse isn't a thing, but so is fucking they still speak about Edison. If you don't do your research like you did, which most people know, it's Edison created electricity. Right. That's where it stops.
That got struck by lightning.
No one knows that, Charles. No one knows that, Charles.
You proved electricity was a thing.
Stop telling us about all the facts, because what you're doing don't matter. I'm telling you about what other people know.
The facts are all that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of this is my fundamental thing, and probably the reason why I don't know, I trust things a lot more, because it's like I guess I seek information.
Most people don't.
When I seek information, I typically get the right answers.
But most people don't seek information. They just take what's given to them and they keep moving.
Well, that's them suckers' fault.
But then how does this relate to like our real life? Like, we just know we got light. We don't really give a fuck about anything else. Like, what else would be the need for you to go and like, let me look for more information?
You don't aim to understand like what, because
no,
like,
but not
everybody, as we know, it's like he didn't invent that type of light bulb.
Charles, what you're doing is trying to tell two people to actually understand.
No, it's just frustrating because it's like we got light, but there are different types of light bulbs.
Charles just want to outlaw himself other than the norm.
It don't matter.
He just want to separate himself from what normal people know. It's okay.
Yeah, all that knowledge, yeah, you got it, but it don't fucking matter, because if the populace don't know that, isn't seeking knowledge,
The populace believes QAnon.
True, but what you know is your reality. And unfortunately, we exist in a reality of a lot of people that don't know shit. Because a lot of them control things.
And it's okay for people to not know. This like scoffing at people that they don't know is weird to me. I don't give a fuck if you believe in QAnon or you religiously be like CNN got that facts. They true 100%. It doesn't really matter. But at the same time, I'm not looking down on either one of those people.
Charles was like, no.
See, look, and then like I get it. Like you just, I mean, I don't know.
Water.
What was that?
The chemicals aren't making the frogs
trying to prove a point. Then he just be like, well, I'm not one of them. Okay.
No, it's just like, it does matter.
It matters to you.
Then why are these motherfuckers quoting this shit to me like it's the gospel?
What?
Like, people are trying to convince me that QAnon and all this stuff is correct. Like, they care about it.
Mm-hmm. Then let them be. What if this is one of those situations where I was talking about? To me. They come to you and you indulge them, don't you? Yeah, because you want to be right. You want to be right over them. You want to have that little small victory over them and call them idiots so you can feel better.
I don't call them idiots. I just tell
you
them
just,
what the facts
you might
are.
not call them idiots, but you damn sure got that condescending tone. Like, here's the facts, bro. Come on now.
I exist in a condescending tone. Leave me alone.
But there's still that righteousness of I am right and you are wrong. And here's why I'm going to prove myself right. There's still that level of you feeling like you got to indulge with them. But you don't have to if you feel like it's so beneath you. Even if they find you, be like, no, you need to go find somewhere else to argue with that bullshit about. If it was that much bullshit to you. But clearly, you still got something attached to it.
Oh, the 113 and 102.
Yeah, that's what I just checked. So I was like, all right, so y'all are just showing replay. I don't care about that.
Oh, Mr. Replay. I hate purposeful ignorance. I think there's a difference between purposeful ignorance and stupidity. I don't think are acceptable states of being. Just being ignorant is fine. Just not, you don't know what you don't know. But if you realize that you don't know something and you have a desire to know about it, or you choose to remain inside of the dark about something, it's like, yeah, who made the light bulb? Not the end of the world.
But that, I guess,
but water making the frogs gay, or some of the other preposterous things you just keep hearing about.
But I guess, again, those things make people feel good. I am a part of this, and we know something that y'all don't. We all have all this information, and we know the truth about what's going on, and y'all don't.
The same could be said about him in the Westinghouse thing, though. That could be the same to say y'all both in the same boat. Y'all both think y'all got more information over somebody else, and y'all just still feel so righteous about it.
But I actually do.
See, like you see this? How the QAnon people don't feel the same way you do?
But again, if they look at everything that they have and believe as fact,
yeah, how
just
can
like
you tell them not?
Then they believe the exact. They feel.
But I also believe in the scientific method.
Charles, but it don't matter. It don't matter. What you're telling me about is all of the things that you do. What I'm saying is, from a person's perspective, if they feel like I have all this information, I've done my research, I've read all the conspiracy theories and done my own independent thinking, and this is what I came up with, and these are all the sources, and I know, and he just don't got the right facts. I got the facts.
The information don't make sense.
But Charles, what I'm saying is they're going to have that same feeling that you have. It don't matter that you devalue the stuff that they're standing on. If it's a pillar of sand, that doesn't matter, because all they're going to do is build a new sandcastle once you knock that one over. So that don't matter. What matters is their feeling is the same.
When the tide comes in, they're going to get swept out.
You see the arrogance? How you know? How you know that's gonna happen?
That's not true.
Because they built they out here.
How you know your scientific standing won't just be wiped away one day? How do you know that?
I don't mind if it does. If there's a level of scientific proof.
But what if it's one day? Then what's the point of arguing when niggas are looking down on them on their so-called ignorance? What would be the point of arguing with QAnon niggas?
Ignorance? It's just like,
I guess. I feel like Ash, where I don't really see the point of people are going to be ignorant.
But at that point,
but most people, if you recognize that, hey, I operate with a level of self-awareness that other people don't operate with.
But at that point,
at
that point, we were quintessentially giving up on our fellow human beings.
No, we're not.
No, I'm not giving up on you.
Yeah, you are.
Do you think that's a fact? Do you think that's the truth? Do you think that you operate at a level of cognitive awareness and self-awareness of yourself higher than most people?
Yeah, self-awareness.
All right.
Yes.
So then, if you recognize that that is a fact, then stop discounting that fucking fact when you're thinking about other people and recognize that, hey, most of them don't operate like this. And that is a fact. Why is that the one fact that you don't like?
Because we literally came forward with the most.
But that don't change it.
And we all got the same.
But that don't change it.
That's also.
Does that change a fact? Does that change? All right.
It's like
you're right. I have hammers. I got a drill. I got saws. I got a chainsaw. I got wood. I got all the things that I need to go out there and build me a shed. But do I know how to fucking build a shed? No. So yes, we all have the same fucking tools, but if you don't know how to use the bitches, it don't fucking matter.
But you were also taught how to use them.
How do you know that?
Because there's a certain level, basic level of education.
No, I've dated women that have high school diplomas, but also don't know how to count. They were working and would call me and say, hey, I worked this many hours today. I get paid this much. How much am I supposed to get paid at the end of the day? So what you're assuming and what the reality are vastly fucking different, Charles.
I'm trying to figure out how these people made it.
Or just the arrogance for you thinking that you can save these people from themselves is really one of the issues I think you facing. You want to save these niggas from what you perceive as something that's bad. You can't save these motherfuckers. Let them lie where they lie. Who gave you that job? Who gave you that job to say, you're going to learn today? Who gave you that job, Charles? No one.
To me.
Leave them alone. Walk away. What the fuck you arguing with niggas that you just be like, how you scoff at it and then be like, well, I'm going to teach you something.
Well, when people come, all right, even that, when people come to you, don't judge them by their coming to you. Judge them off of their actions. Because what they're going to do is give you lip service and they're going to say all the right things in that moment that's going to sound like they're going to move in the direction. But judge, all right, the actions previous to this, they have showed no level of levity, depth in understanding a situation, the ability to remove their emotional reaction while handling a situation. And then they ask you for a solution. But they've displayed none of those characteristics, and you just think all of a sudden they're just going to start doing it now?
I'm going to get a solution, but I'm not going to be emotionally invested on whether or not they execute it.
Yeah, but you're going to think that you would want them to execute it if they came to you.
Ideally.
You would assume, hey, if you're coming to me for a solution, you're going to execute on it.
You believe that I can give you an executable solution, so I'm going to give it to you, But
then when they don't, because all they wanted really was lip service to feel good, and what you told them to do kind of feels good, but it ultimately is going to lead to some sacrifice and things like that ain't going to feel good. It just felt good to talk about it with you and talk about, yeah, I'm going to get to that new level and be at this position.
At that point, you just wanted to vent and then just tell me you wanted to vent.
That's all niggas that be on the internet do is fucking...
That's what most people want. But they don't
especially in the Facebook
that's
comments.
What they want. People don't want to acknowledge that they're content or they're comfortable enough that they're unwilling to change their position in life. They always want to talk about, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get to this point. I'm going to make these adjustments. I'm going to. Because no one is willing to admit, hey, this is what my life is, and I'm accepting that. Because sometimes they have a preconceived notion that was supposed to look different, and they feel like if they accepted where it's at, that they failed. But just say
it's relative.
It very much so. But for them, it feels like a failure because they say, hey, I want to have all these things, lip service, but I'm not willing to do all the things to get that.
It means you don't want all those things.
Exactly. But they don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit that, hey, just doing this, being a McDonald's manager, making my money, coming home, taking my trips and doing that, I like that. I got my husband. We make $90,000 in a combined income for the household. We got 2.5 kids and a dog. Shit is cool. But they want to talk about how they want to be a franchise owner and how they want to start their own and start buying houses and do real estate. But they don't make any movement towards that because that's not what you really want. You're content where you're at. But that doesn't feel good to you to say that, hey, I'm happy here. Because that feels like sacrificing, giving up on the things that you said that you wanted or the lifestyle that you believe.
I mean, the first kid can be random. The second kid typically isn't. Like, I don't think you... I mean, I guess there are people who like just fuck up chronically when it comes to like, oh, we're together. We had our first kid. Damn, that was a surprise. No more of that. But I don't know why I'm critiquing this fictitious family.
This nigga always got the critiques for the fictitious
all I know
people.
is people.
It was namely the 2.5 kids. It's just like, well, damn, what the fuck does that half kid look like? Does he like cut like at the waist or like vertically?
At the waist. I don't want them vertically. That'd be weird. I don't want half a face.
It's like one arm.
I want
one
a whole,
leg.
I want a whole face, whole abdomen. You just ain't got no legs. We're gonna put you in a wheelchair. You'll be fine.
It's just like,
I ain't got no legs. That's fucked up.
that's the reason why I randomly started laughing. It's just like, what the fuck is that half a child doing?
Most people don't operate with one honesty with themselves and saying, hey, where I'm at right now is okay with me and I don't really want to move in a different way right now.
Bruh,
And sometimes it's just okay for right now, but they don't even want to accept it. They want to continue to lie. Hey, no, I want to do this. I want to do that. No, you just want to be more comfortable, but you find staying here and then working a job and getting a promotion and that being the way that you reach a new level. But you realistically not going to do anything outside of that to get anything else. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes saying that doesn't feel good. And again, no one's going to do anything that don't feel good. It might feel good to say, I'm going to be a business owner. I'm going to have several houses. I'm going to be in that Jag doing this. It feels nice.
Right. It feels helly nice because it felt nice to me until I realized, like, I don't want to do none of this shit.
Just having a couple houses
done.
is not enough to sustain oneself.
Even if it ain't, I don't even like just think of, they don't think about the maintenance that go in. Like when I used to live in my apartment by the lake, the people that own that fucking house, they just looked supremely stressed out a lot. I don't know if they had any other houses. I think they did, but I'm just like...
because being a landlord is a very stressful existence.
But you see, that's how that's like fed up to us. Like that's one of the ways to attain a certain amount of wealth or for wealth building. Like whatever it could be. It could be...
The wealth is the houses, not the people in the houses.
But it could be stocks. It could be cryptocurrency. It could be anything that people are trying to get you to focus on to build what they think is going to give you that semblance. But think about it. Your material success, all you really looking for is cheap imitations of what you could give yourself. Everybody out here looking for boats and shit and the baddest bitch on the block, but no one really, what you looking for is a complete and wholeness in yourself, and you trying to place all that search on a salary, on how many houses you got, the baddest bitch or the baddest nigga in your fucking plate. That's all you're trying to do is just cheap imitations for intimacy. And that's one of the hardest things I had to learn. I was just looking for cheap imitations of intimacy. That's it. I thought going and traveling all the time was going to solve it. It's not. None of those things are going to solve it. And once I got into being like, I asked the question, how can my talents produce a real income for me, for real, for real? And that's when the magic started happening. That's when I started trusting, well, maybe there's something here. Look at you being good at shopping. Why don't you turn that into a fucking job or any other business idea that I may have going into? As long as I know like that my intentions going into it, I have to know that the money will come. Or just build another fucking streams of income. Even if this one isn't quite where we want it to be, I know I can trust in myself to build where the fuck I want to be.
Like, I'm going to tell everybody this. You should never be living off the rent that you get from your houses.
Mm-hmm.
Like 25 to 30% of that should go into savings just in case something happens to those houses. And then you can do other stuff, but you should never depend upon the income stream from house. That's what happened with this entire collapse during the pandemic. There were a bunch of landlords that were completely and totally dependent upon paying their mortgages based off of their rent. And that's never how you want to buy anything.
Yeah, and it's not to say that people like that are in real estate didn't really follow their like heart or whatever to go towards their career in real estate or anything like that. But what I also say is like,
you should go about it within a sustainable way.
Not even because sometimes you can't even afford to do that. Like I said, that leap of faith. Like I was fucked up for 3 months when I first quit my job. I was absolutely not knowing how the fuck anything was going to work out. But I had a lot of help. Like I had help. Let me not pretend like Ash was just out here living in her own space or anything like that. So I had help. But also, I had to reduce my income. I can't really rely on my parents to get me anything else. Like, I have somewhere to live. There was food there, but also other stuff like how am I going to be able to support all these bills that I have on me? I'm not recommending that to anybody. But I will also say that was just a leap of faith that I was ready to take on myself. And I was ready for that. I don't know if you ever going to be for real, truly ready for anybody out there, but you can bet on you if you really got that trust in yourself, at least to know that you fucking resourceful. And you gonna find a way, baby. But that's also out of the realm of logic and out of the 25 or 30% my homie was just talking about here. So that is not for the weak. I would just say that one.
Not for the weak at heart. Ever. You got to make some good goals, Charles. Make some good goals. And recognize that you're an outlier. You don't sound like you want to do that.
I can make some goals for myself, but...
So the goals need to be to understand other people. Let me tell you what your goals need to be.
Oh.
How to recognize that you're an outlier and stop taking...
Why you got to pull the carpet off, bro? I said a whole other litany of list to go.
Yeah, fuck that. No.
Programming.
No. Not
life, workout.
No.
All these things I can do.
Yeah, no. What I need you to do is recognize, hey, I have a level of depth to myself that isn't existent in most people.
I need people to understand the scientific method.
Why is that the end? Why did he tell me that?
It's just like...
See, this is why you gotta work on shit. This is exactly why you gotta work on shit. This is why those
we're gonna be real honest, my nigga.
We're all...
You got some work to do before your ideal bitch come. Like, you got some work to do.
I am very hard-headed inside of certain ways.
You got some work to do.
My belief inside the scientific method, general intelligence...
Knock this fucking microphone over.
And understanding the accreditation and papers and understanding is just like there's certain things that drive me crazy. Like people quoting scientific papers with no actual trials or anything like that. It's just like, look at the scientific paper. I read the paper. He never actually did any testing.
You know, I'm done with this episode. I'm talking to Charles. I'm leaving.
There are certain things that I'm pretty rigid
going
on.
home.
Yeah, I just decided that Charles did all that, and I just decided that I was done with him.
I am literally the rock of eternity inside of this place. Grasp upon
I give up. You got it. Scientific method for all you and your bitches.
Scientific method. I am out.